Greetings, fellow content creator. Are you interested in shrinking your YouTube channel? Well, that's easy. Just feature a thumbnail of disgraced political pundit Alex Jones and watch your subscribers drop like flies. Are you like me, tired of spending an entire week making a video only to gain subscribers? Well, never fear. Include a couple clips of said right-wing personality and you'll be hemorrhaging subs. What, you say you're not a political channel? It doesn't matter if you take a political stance one way or another. Just by featuring him, just his presence will ensure a mass exodus.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But before we go any further, let's talk about the author. William Fitzgerald Jenkins, aka Murray Leinster, was an American author and inventor born June 16, 1896, and he died in 1975 at the age of 78. Once again, I'm not unearthing an obscure author here. Murray Leinster is the guy. His first short story was accepted in the May 1916 issue of the Smart Set, and his first science fiction was in February 1919 Argosy. In addition to writing, he also invented the front projection process used in movie special effects during the 60s and 70s. He also invented some now common ideas such as parallel universes, universal translators. He may have been the first to theorize computers in 1946 and coined the term first contact. But he wasn't strictly a science fiction guy. Leinster wrote romance, murder mysteries, men's adventure, westerns, fantasy, television, radio, and film scripts, and even mainstream fiction. Prolific would be an understatement. He used the pseudonyms Louisa Carter Lee and multiple variations of his full name. He's won a Liberty Award and 2 Hugos, and I can't give you an exact number, but I can say that he's written over 1,500 novels, scripts, and short stories.
That's a lot of nuts!
Which brings us to the monster at Earth's End. The first hint of something wrong at the outpost was the plane. It crazily circled the little island, its cargo bay doors open, its radio dead. It seemed to hang in the air for a moment, and then it dived downward, leveled, and dipped again. It made a belly landing on the stone runway with its wheels still retracted. There was a singular, dead silence, and then a shot rang out. The crew of 2 and the 7 passengers had vanished. The cargo was strewn about. The fuel tanks had been emptied, and the pilot, after landing, had blown his brains out. The Monster from Earth's End is an original story first published in 1959 by Fawcett, and it's a gold medal book. That doesn't mean it won anything, it just means it's original and hadn't previously appeared in a Pulp or any other publication. It is 176 pages and originally cost 35 cents. The cover is by Mooney Lieblen, and it's pretty wild. Even though there's no green evil slime or naked women in the book, it perfectly sets the tone. I particularly like the muted colors framing the vibrant slime and nude gal. Also, the font is great. This is a B-movie in book form, and this is as much horror as it is science fiction. All in all, the cover does exactly what it should do. Stand out amongst a sea of other books and make you ask, what's going on in here?
From Antarctica, frozen for 1,000,000 years, to a small naval outpost in the Pacific comes a cargo of deviltry, devastation, death.
This was actually made into a movie by Jack Broder and Roger Corman called The Navy versus the Night Monster. The plot followed the book but made some nonsensical decisions that turned an otherwise taut, intelligent thriller into B-movie schlock. Most obviously turning the complex and interesting monster into a craft project that cost them, and this isn't a joke, $1.98. It's since gone on to become a cult classic. This copy of The Monster from Earth's End ends up going for around $15 online. Alright, let's talk about what I liked. The plot. This book is very reminiscent of Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, which of course was the inspiration for The Thing from Another World, Horror Express, and its third adaptation and one of my all-time favorite movies, The Thing. The story takes place on Gow Island, which is a remote naval refueling station positioned between South America and Antarctica. Now, researchers have discovered these hot lakes in Antarctica, which are entire ecosystems completely separated from the rest of the world since the beginning of time. A research team collecting samples from the hot lakes has left Antarctica and is stopping at Gow Island to refuel when things begin to go wrong, as we learn on the back cover. So we are introduced to our main characters right as this plane lands, and everyone aboard the plane is missing. And, well, we know what happened to the pilot. So they take all the specimens and research materials off the plane and place them in this nearby warehouse for safekeeping, along with the pilot's body. The naval team is scrambling to try and figure out what the heck happened when some strange things begin happening. That first night they hear these loud crashes and bangs from inside of this warehouse where all the specimens were located, and everything is tossed and moved and rifled through. But stranger still, the pilot's body is missing. Things escalate from there because the very next night, one of the dogs on the island is horribly killed. And then a man is killed as well. The crew discovers that they are safe in the light as long as they stay in the light. And now it is a race against time to figure out what is killing them before the lights go out. But soon, even the light won't protect them from this mysterious threat. I would say it's likely that Leinster was inspired by Who Goes There, which came out in 1938, or The Thing from Another World, which came out just a few years before. I wouldn't look into it. I think everything's on the up and up here because, you know, the creature is quite different. The actual story elements are quite different, but the setting and the tone is very reminiscent of that, much to my delight. I first saw this book when Nick over at the Book Graveyard gave it a review.
So brutal start to the monster from The Thing. And what the is this called?
Now, he breaks down the characters in the events in much more detail than I'm doing here, so go over and give that video a watch when you're done here. I'll include a link in the description. But don't be rude and go right now. Like, wait until I'm finished. Hey, no, hey, wait. Hey, I said don't go yet. Leinster is a good writer, especially in tone. I would argue that Gow Island has more description and is as much of a character than any of the actual characters in this book. He perfectly strikes a balance between not enough description and description overload so that he's fully immersing us in this lonely, bleak setting without slowing down the story. Now, I have over 20 Murray Leinster books, and this is the first one I've read, but yeah, I would happily read another one. You can tell a seasoned storyteller by their pacing. And this book, while perhaps a bit slower than others in this genre, is paced really well. Now, after I read this, I read some reviews, and some reviews say that this book is meandering, which I'll disagree with that. Now, if you're investigating a mystery, but you're going into it completely cold like this crew here is, you're not going to know what to do. You're probably going to have setbacks. You're probably going to run into dead ends. You're not just going to stumble upon clue after clue after clue. But I would say that even the setbacks and dead ends ended up contributing to the overall creature reveal.
But I will catch him. I'll root him out. It won't be easy. He's a master of disguise, and undoubtedly has gone back into hiding until the heat is off.
In fact, we didn't even know that there was a deadly creature until about the halfway point. And if this book was named anything else other than them having a monster or creature in the title, that would have made the mystery so much better. The monster isn't even fully revealed until about the 150-page mark. Leinster understands that while it's scary to show the monster, it is far scarier to not know what's killing you. I love that. I love the restraint he held on to. And even at that point, the final revelation, I wasn't disappointed. Now, it's no secret, I love science fiction. Like, well, I gave it away, right?
Well, obviously.
But my favorite subgenre is easily science fiction horror. Now, last week, we didn't really get any horror, right? Last week, we didn't really get any science fiction either, but that's that. This week, more than makes up for it. We got science fiction, and we definitely got horror. I would say that, apart from the cover, that this is a great gateway horror for kids because there's nothing really gory. The violence happens mostly off screen. There's nothing depraved. There's nothing disturbing that happens, and yet this has some very creepy moments. Now, if you've got that itch for sci-fi horror, I promise you, this book will scratch it.
Right on it. Yeah.
And now, the bad.
Leave the light on, Mother. I'm afraid of the dark.
The overall book quality. Now, this isn't Murray Leinster's fault, but rather Fawcett Books. The font they chose for this particular book, it wasn't the most pleasant to read. For whatever reason, the question marks are very scrunched together. The quality of paper varied page to page, and some of the printing quality is very poor with lots of smudges. It just seemed like every other page I was kind of rolling my eyes or sighing a bit. And this isn't anything that broke the story or really affected it at all, but it was just kind of annoying.
I'm afraid of the dark.
There's an over-reliance on exclamation points. I feel like I've been saying this a lot lately. Now, this isn't as egregious as Bumcider or as absolutely asinine ridiculous like East of Danger, but there's still just too many in here. The author, F. Scott Fitzgerald, says that you should cut out every exclamation point because it's akin to just laughing at your own joke. As some of you know, I do some writing. But I'm not a snob. I use exclamation points, although I just use them in dialogue. Don't tell anybody, but I occasionally will use an adverb.
Oh my God!
And it's because my focus isn't on becoming Stephen King, who famously hates adverbs and exclamation points, yet uses them quite a bit. My focus is on telling a story that is clear, concise, robust, and I feel there are times when the text calls for an adverb or an exclamation point. Now, I will agree the goal is not to have superfluous words or inappropriate punctuation, but the goal is not to eliminate tools from your toolbox. The goal is to utilize the right tool for the right task. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. I don't even know how I got on there. Leinster used too many exclamation points. Again, it's not egregious, but some editing would have went a long way, and it would have just been less distracting, less detracting from the story.
I'm afraid of the dark.
There is some mild sexism in this book. I don't think it's at an offensive level, but rather just kind of a product of the age. The main love interest is not interesting at all, but rather is just something to protect.
Oh, my prince, would that you drink of my lips as deeply?
Now, before the rest of you unsubscribed, let it be known that I am not against protecting the opposite sex. I'm not against protecting the weaker sex. I just think that maybe also the women in your book should have personality or maybe a little bit of agency. Is that crazy? Or maybe something to do? Is that a revolutionary thought? Like I said, I don't think it's offensive. I don't think Murray Leinster is mean-spirited or meant anything by it. But just beware that's in here if you're sensitive to things like that.
This is ridiculous.
Kind of piggybacking on what I just said, at one point in the story, two men get into a disagreement. Now, this disagreement escalates into a screaming match. It gets to the point where they almost come to blows. It is super intense.
Get your finger out of my face.
You get yours out. I was here first.
I don't care.
Get it out. Get it out.
Hey, all right. Hey, come on. Stop. Come on. Break it up. Hey! What's the matter with you?
And after they're done with this huge debacle, one of the men turns and looks at a woman who is sitting there, she is sitting there silently, but kind of wringing her hands a bit. And he goes, "Hey, try and get a hold of yourself." Right.
Ridiculous.
The man in charge is named Drake.
I don't even like Drake.
You don't like the Drake?
I hate the Drake.
I love the Drake.
How could you not like the Drake?
Who's the Drake?
Who's the Drake?
The Drake is good.
We don't get a first name. We don't get a official naval title or a rank. His name is just Drake. It's fine. Drake's cool. We like Drake. But Drake growls.
How are you? Hi. Nice to see you.
Meet you.
Hey, that didn't work.
For whatever reason, he is constantly growling. I think Leinster was trying to create a kind of jaded, curmudgeonly character who's trying to keep everything together as this crew is falling apart, becoming semi-mutinous, and there's monster attacks, and he's just trying to keep it all together, so he's constantly growling, but he growls at sometimes the most strange moments, or times when you think he should be saying something, and instead he just growls. So like this whole time I'm trying to sympathize with Drake and put myself in his shoes, but why is he growling? I mean, I don't see myself ever coming to a situation where I think I should growl. Why is he growling?
If a man sees an attractive woman in Japan, can I go? Do you like that?
Oh, this is my first time to see a human being make those kind of.
You haven't seen a human being make those noises before?
Like a sheep.
Yeah.
So what's the verdict? Personal collection. Is this a bit schlocky? Yep. Is it flawed? Yep. Is this fine art? Nope. But it's a great mystery, has an engaging cover, and is a ton of fun from start to finish. You will not do wrong picking up this book. Now whip out your PKE meter and let's see how spooky this thing is. 5 out of 10. It's not terrifying, it won't keep you up at night, but it has a delightfully creepy atmosphere and a few standout horror moments. And that is my review of The Monster at Earth's End. From Earth's End.
Hello, dark.
Have you read this? Or maybe there's a different Murray Leinster I should have read instead? Let us know in the comments, would ya? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time with Nightmare.
First joke ever. Don't care for it.
Hands down, the best part of the movie is Mamie Van Doren plays Nora. Man, is she gorgeous. It was just a treat every time she was on the screen.